watching the Original Music Podcast. With your host, Raymond Hams.
All right, here we go. Episode 62. Tonight we have Voodoo Moonshine, a band that's split between Northeast Florida and the Atlanta area. How are you guys doing tonight?
Right. I'm good, thank you.
Hey, you got Ray Hams and Rick Gatheman. Rick Gatheman actually plays in Voodoo Moonshine, so this is kind of fun that he's got some of his friends on.
Yes, sir.
So right out the gate, Voodoo Moonshine's been around for a while. When did it start? And Jeff, were you the impetus of this band?
Well, I'm the old man. Yeah, I started it in 2003, and we put out the first CD, I think, in 2005, somewhere in there. Yeah, it's been around a while, but, I took a long break in the middle of it all. Yeah, I think really we're 3 or 4 years active after the first CD, and then I took a long break.
Yeah, how long is long?
Oh, like 12 years or so.
That is long. Yeah, that's long. And Pedro, when did you join the project and get started with it?
It's probably like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, Jeff had contacted me on Facebook to sing on some of these songs. And I think it was 3.
No, it's been longer now.
Has it?
Yeah, it's going on like 5 years now.
Oh man,
time flies.
That's too long.
Yeah, it flies when it's just dreamy.
Yeah. Well,
he wasn't super receptive, from what I understand, either.
Who?
Pedro.
Jeff? Pedro?
Yeah.
Pedro? Did he have to twist your arm? How did that invite go?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I get this message from this weird guy I don't know.
Right.
Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. But you know how Facebook is, so you can imagine a message coming from him.
Stalker.
And, it's a typical, hey, let's, you want to play, you want to jam. I hear that all the time.
Right.
So it was just another one of those messages, really, to be honest. But he was persistent. I checked out. It was original music, and I'm all about original music.
Right.
So that's really what kind of sparked. Usually, I get when I get messages like that, it's like, hey, let's start a Journey tribute band or something like that, which I don't want to do.
Right.
But because it was original, I finally did take a listen. Basically, we did one song, and that's how everything kind of started.
Oh, that's cool. And Jeff, do you remember which track that you sent him that piqued his interest?
I was going to ask that question 10 seconds ago.
I can't remember. I think I sent the whole album, really. Well, yeah, I think I sent both albums. The first album, and then a version of what is the album now. But I know the first video or the first song that he had recorded and we did a video for was Eden in Your Eyes, a ballad. So it was just, me and him in the video.
Yeah. That's, that's usually kind of how it goes with, when you bring somebody new into the project, you kind of send them the kitchen sink and go, hey, here's everything. What do you think? To see if the interest is there. What were you? I mean, we all have been around the block for a while musically. Pedro, were you doing cover bands or tribute bands prior to this project?
Yeah, I'm still doing that actually.
Yeah,
I've had a cover band here in Florida for like 15 years. We do 80s rock.
Yeah,
all the stuff that we grew up doing. And I started that band 15 years ago. I had been out, I stopped doing music, I got married, I got a kid. And so I stopped for like 15 years.
Wow.
I stopped singing. And I I would still write music in my room and just kind of record. I never stopped that, but I stopped performing and just being in a band. And one day, I had enough, and I had to get out of the house, and I started the band.
Yeah.
But I really started the band with the idea of becoming original.
Oh yeah.
But it never turned out that way. It just, we became popular as a cover band, and we were making money, so I never stopped it.
Yeah.
So that, that was really the idea of getting back into music, to getting into originals. So, when Jeff had contacted me, it was all original. So that kind of piqued my interest.
Yeah, that made it easy, right? Yeah.
That made it easy for me. I was like, okay, I mean, a shot. And I did listen to all the songs that he had sent me, and I liked them. They were cool. They were my style of music.
Right.
But I could hear my singing style on them, which would make him even, in my opinion, better.
Yeah.
So I think I selected "Eating in Your Eyes" just because it was mainly just guitars and vocal, just so I could hear how both of us were kind of how the music would come out.
Yeah.
And when we did that song, I liked the way that it came out. And I think Jeff came down here to Florida, and we filmed the video in a park somewhere.
Yeah.
We did it ourselves, basically.
Yeah.
We just kind of put it out there to see what would happen. And it came out pretty good. So I decided, let's just do the whole freaking thing.
Yeah. Keep going.
Why not?
Yeah.
Keep going.
Well, please tell me in your cover band that you do like extreme Get the Funk Out, because you have an uncanny look of Nuno Bentoncourt.
It kind of does. Yeah. You've had to have heard that before.
Yeah. You have to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I have a picture. Let me see if I can find it. It's the funniest thing.
You and Nuno?
Me and Nuno.
Yeah.
We look like friggin' brothers.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it. Look.
Wow.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
That's funny.
You're taller than he is, it looks like.
Oh, yeah. He's just a little guy.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. He looks bigger than life, obviously. And that Rise.
Oh, well,
all those guys are little guys.
Yeah. That Rise video, that solo in Rise, he looks like
it's ridiculous.
King, man. Jeff,
that's good camera angles.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Jeff, have you always been doing original music, or
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, when I was 17 or 18, we did some covers, but I just never wanted to do everyone else's shit, so I've done originals always, and I won't get out there and do covers. I won't be in tribute bands, and for me, especially like tributes, I never understood why I'd worked so hard to pretend to be, Eddie Van Halen or someone like that. I mean, I can understand as far as it's a huge money deal.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big money thing. And I know people, it's their influencers and they enjoy it, but no, Voodoo Moonshine's just my baby, and it's all I'll do. I'm sure I'll just, when it's done, I'll be done.
Yeah. Well,
that's why
you're a man after my own heart. Because I'm the same.
Yeah.
way.
When I quit, I just, I didn't even, it's not like I missed anything, because, I can turn it on and off, because it's, my stuff and me, you know what I mean? As far as the personal feelings, it's, my baby in my mind. So it's not a big deal. I just put it away,
But even when even when you put it away, though, you were probably still noodling around in your studio, right? Or did you totally stop playing music?
Well, I stopped, like Pedro, just performing, because there's a lot of work and headache involved, and I'm sure you guys know, involved in it, and it seems like a lot more. It's more of a headache than it's worth, especially if you're battling these days to do the original thing.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. I didn't miss that aspect of it. I always wrote, almost everything I write is on acoustic guitar, so I could do that by myself, so wasn't a big deal, but I always write. Of course, I have a big file cabinet of cassettes and CDs of songs, you know, that I forgot all about. But yeah, no, it's always been there somewhere.
Yeah.
I dug deep yesterday, like into the first record. And I'm like, I'm listening to songs going, holy shit, why aren't we playing these?
Yeah.
He's got some really badass songs.
Well, how long a set, how long a show do you guys have put together at this point, you know, from the records of the past to current?
Well, we got about an hour and 45. Yeah.
So 9.
Yeah, we only do 2 covers.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 covers, and one we're actually going to record a song on this new album. It's going to be one of them, but and it's weird. The other covers, which is Skid Row's "Monkey Business," as like the first song that I actually jammed with Pedro on stage at Bike Week on. So we keep that in there, but Pedro and the guys know, man, I'm just trying to constantly just choke every cover song possible. I'm just choking them out, man. I just want to add another original because, you know, to me, it seems like once guys start doing covers, they end up being cover bands, you know, and it's just in my head not to be that, you know.
Yeah, I've got kind of a rule that it's, you know, it's one cover at the end of the show as like an encore or, you know,
that's what it is.
Yeah,
that's what we do.
It's kind of, all right, we'll give you one, you know, you're welcome, that kind of a thing. But I'm gonna play, you know, my stuff, our stuff, all night long, and have no apologies for it because that's why I'm here. You know.
Yeah.
If you're an artist, you're gonna write your own material. And what's that quote? Good artists borrow, great artists steal. You know, you know, if you're playing covers all night long, you're a great artist.
Yeah.
You know, in my opinion. But I did end up getting a track here. Let's listen to "Be My Honey." Can you tell me a little bit about that track before we fire it off?
That's funny that you asked that because I actually wrote that song while I was sick, and I'm sick again.
Yeah.
And basically, I like Jeff. I write most of my songs on an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
And I was just on the couch, just hating life, just really sick.
Yeah, that sucks.
And I had this groove that I was just playing around just with my eyes closed. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, thinking to myself. And I was like, okay, I like it. I'm going to write a song. So I stood up on the couch and I had one of those little honey bears, you know, little bears filled with honey that I was just chugging down from my throat.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to come up with something. I was like, honey, be my honey, be my honey. So that's how that song came about.
Wow.
Because of that honey bear that was sitting there because I was sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I sat there and within, 15 minutes, I had written everything, the music and the lyrics. It just came.
Yeah.
And that made me feel better.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
so
that's really not a sexy story like you would think, like, you know, in a room with your
depends on who you are.
10 chicks naked and stuff. But yeah, we're definitely showing our age with that. Yeah. Pedro sent it to me, man. I thought it was just really great. We didn't have to tweak a whole lot on it. You know, I added some of my stuff in it, and I thought the song was so great. You know, that's why because it's going to be on the new album, but that's why I wanted to fast track doing the video, because it was such a catchy song and it was so great, you know.
Yeah. Jeff, what are you working on over there? Are you counting washers or something?
He's counting sheep.
Wait,
you can see that now.
Dude,
I got a new vocal pedal, and I got to wire up a double switch.
Okay.
For the variation. Sorry about
that.
I didn't think y'all could see that.
I literally thought you were counting rice. Then I thought you were picking fingernails. I mean, I've been confused.
No, I got to solder up a dual switch.
Okay. So is that a double pole, double throw type of switch? Let's talk about the switch. We're here now.
Yeah.
Now we're geeking out.
Mode variation switch.
We're in geek out mode.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what's that going to go in? Something for vocals, you said?
No, I've tracked down a Boss VE2 vocal pedal, and they've been back ordered for 6-7 months, and they're still on back order. And I just found one and got it from Sam Ash the other day.
Right.
And I didn't realize you got to have another pedal for it. For the mode and variation, so now I got to have another damn pedal. Pedro gives me so much crap about my pedal board and stuff, and
so
now I got to have two more pedals.
It's a fucking boat.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're gonna get into talking about the gear and stuff, but before we do, let's listen to "Be My Honey" from Voodoo Moonshine.
standing there with that deep stare, that look in your eyes telling me to beware. But I gotta know if you wanna play, stay with me and do it right tonight. Be my honey. Your love is right, sticky honey. I'm so down on my knees, but I know you're gonna take my money. Well, that's alright with me, yeah. I need something sweet. I will pay the price.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd call that a rock and roll song for sure. That sounds really good. Really well produced. Really well written. Obviously, a couple of things that popped off the top of my head of hearing it, because this is the first time I've actually heard this. And this is a new track for you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
The first thing that pops off to me is it's intentionally. The vocals are intentionally very important on this track. I'm hearing a lot of music that coming through here that sounds great crunchy guitars, great big cannon sounding drums, and I'm like, the vocalist is just a little too far back in the mix. This is not the case with this track. That was obviously intentional.
Yeah, well, it's always intentional. I mean, obviously the vocalist is the main important guy,
Yeah.
And with Pedro being a great singer, I try to, stuff that I write, I want to make him the focal point.
Sure.
He's the guy up front.
Yeah.
So that's always first and foremost.
You did it
we do our job.
You did it with the background vocals too. You guys are big banging background vocals as well.
Yeah, he needs to knock that shit off though sometimes.
Because you got to sing it now, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's why I'm buying other pedals and stuff to help. But because it's so easy for him to do,
right.
And then my 2-pack a day ass. It's like, yeah, man,
yeah.
We're gonna do something, but
yeah, I can tell you what to do. We could give up 2 packs and go to 1.
Yeah, I can't
Priorities. I've been
no one
saying
wants
that.
to deal with me as it is, much less if I give up 2 packs a day.
Hey, I quit 15 years ago. If I can quit, you.
Oh yeah, I know. We don't hear about all that crap.
Zen, baby, Zen.
Yeah.
It'll save your life. But yeah, I mean the vocals sound really, really good. Pedro, did you come up with the acoustic guitar? Or did you do that that chicken picking kind of descending line on the verses?
Yeah. Well, when I wrote the song, I wrote all the parts.
Yeah.
So yeah, that part was in there. But then when I sent it to Jeff, I said, Jeff, you add your guitarist.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what he did. He kind of added his flair to it, just what I expect everybody to do.
Sure.
I expect the drums to I just put a basic, drum machine in there.
Yeah.
I'm not making the parts. I'm making the song.
Yeah.
So
melody,
when we get
melody and
yeah, to me, that's the most important thing of the song.
Yeah.
It's the vocal melody, the arrangement. And then when I give the guys, if I happen to write the full song,
right,
they kind of add the parts, to fit them, basically, and the song.
Yeah, we interpret, me, I just interpret it the way I hear it, too. He'll send me something, and just like this other, this new song, Bye Bye Baby, he sends it to me and sends it a certain way, and then I do whatever, in this same context of the song, I'll add my stuff to it, so just like when I send him something, I just give him the outline of it and he adds his stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes it great. It'd be a totally different situation if Pedro sent me something and said, I want to play just like this, or vice versa.
Yeah.
So we all get to add our own touches to it, and that's what makes it a song and a band.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the same thing I did with Rick with the Giza project was, all right, here's everything. Feel free to interpret it, but here's the song structures. Let's make it work,
Pedro drives around all day with his phone, and if he gets an idea, he starts humming into his phone.
I've said multiple times now that the voice messages app on an Apple iPhone is the most important app on my phone.
It is. It's the most valuable thing. I freak out. Like, I always go home after a week with my phone.
Yeah.
I can't lose that. Like, if my phone crashes and I lose those humming parts that I did while I was driving.
Right.
Because I've written some of my best songs from humming in my phone.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'll forget that I had done that, throughout the day or throughout the week, and I'll go back and listen to my voice to text or whatever, my recorder, and go, oh, I forgot I wrote that, or just a guitar lick in the middle of the night, but it is real important, to have. And it's a lot easier than, having to get up and go in and, turn on your recorder and lay it down. And so, they're a necessity.
Yeah. You just need that noodling blueprint to just go back to. I've got so many in mind, but one in particular is kind of it's like a 57 Bel Air is what I named it, and I was just sitting on my recliner with my guitar and just started playing this thing, and it was it's unlike anything that I've ever played, and I was like, oh, I got to record this progression. Now I go back, I listen to it, I was like, oh, that's really cool. What the hell was I doing? How did I play?
Yeah.
You have to go back and relearn yourself.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that what I do with Jeff is like, anytime I write a song that I think is good for Voodoo Moonshine, I send it to him, and now he always asks me, well, can you send me a recording of you playing it? And I was like, I forgot how to play it. So now, now that you've asked for that, I actually do that every time, because like what you said, 2 weeks from now, you listen to it, you're like, oh my gosh, how the hell did I play that? Yeah. So just on your phone, on the video recorder, just put it right there and just record yourself playing it. And that way
that's
you can't
smart
forget
too.
it.
Yeah.
And I'm also lazy. I don't have to learn it. I'd rather just watch and slow it down and hit rewind. Yeah. It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. One of the things that I started doing in this vein of, was like, if I was in an alternate tuning or something, I would say the notes, or I would ring out, drop C, this is in A position, and then it's double drop C, something like that, to just kind of tell myself, okay, a starting point. And then if I know the tuning and I can noodle on it, I'll figure it out what I did. But again, I'm spending time. Time is valuable for me. And I'm spending time relearning myself and an idea I had, and not the guitar solo for Comfortably Numb, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
More worth it time, right?
Yeah. You're more vested in it, because otherwise, this is just Comfortably Numb. I'll learn it later,
Yeah. Or I'll just jam in B minor and call it David Gilmour.
Yeah, that's it. Because we've been doing monkey business for how long now, and I still don't know the solo. I mean, because it's just, and also you're doing a cover, so this is my moment to interpret it, whether it's just as good as the way he did it or not, but it's just my way of doing it,
Yeah.
That's what, to me, covers and, all that stuff is. To me, it's not to play it note for note and be exact,
I don't think in our situation, people give a rip.
Yeah. It's also, there's other guys that can do that. Yeah. I'm going to give anything Van Halen to a guy named Josh out of Oklahoma, Josh Jones. He is unbelievably Eddie Van Halen.
That kid.
Yeah. With the fuzzy hair.
Yeah, like he's 18 and been playing for like 3 or 4 years or something.
No, he's actually
unbelievable.
I had him on the podcast, actually. You should check it out. We ended up talking late night. Were you here that night?
I don't think so, because I thought you were talking about who Jeff thought you were talking about.
No, this kid, he looks 18. He's got the big fuzzy big hair,
curly hair.
Yeah, but he's not 18. He's like almost 30. He's
oh really?
Yeah,
that dude's unbelievable.
He just looks young, like
from
me.
Broken Arrow.
Exactly.
Oklahoma.
Yeah. Anyway, he's that's his thing. Great. I'll stay in my lane. He's in his lane. Everybody has a lane. Stay in it. And do your thing. Let's talk about how Voodoo Moonshine came onto my radar. Was Rocklahoma. You guys just did Rocklahoma, I think, last year. Was it last year?
Yeah.
And the guy that shot your video is a buddy of mine. So,
Josh.
Yeah, so Josh Jackals.
Jackals.
Oh,
that name sounds familiar.
Yeah, Josh is a fellow Corvette enthusiast like myself, and so we work on each other's cars together. And and he was saying, yeah, I got to go to Oklahoma. I was like, what are you doing there? He's like, I'm filming a band. I was like, well, who's the band? He said, Voodoo Moonshine. I was like, oh, I don't know who that is, but we'll have to check them out. And tell us about that event. It was a good event, but I guess you had some you guys had some road issues coming back or something.
Well, Pedro didn't have to deal with any of it.
Oh,
but
Pedro, he flew, didn't he?
Yeah.
Lead singers are
he's a pampered singer. He flies in because he don't want to have to deal with any. Yeah, he don't want to have to deal with any of this shit. I got to deal with it. The trailer issues, the breakdowns, it turned out to be a big fiasco and ultimately led to our drummer at the time is no longer with us now over the situation.
Yeah.
No, well, we got to, it was really cool because, I'm from Oklahoma. And so the last show I had played in Oklahoma was 1989.
Wow.
So I thought it's a cool show to be your first show back home.
Yeah.
And hell, I hadn't seen my family. I hadn't been back home in like 12 years. So I hadn't seen any of my family.
Yeah.
So it was cool. We got to we started off the whole show, we had, we played with, LA Guns and, Skid Row and Warrant and, who else? Was there one other band? Bullet Boys. Yeah. Yeah. So, I thought there's, a lot worse bands to be playing with.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure. They were good, but yeah, there was, issues with the travel, the trailers, all kinds of shit, and what was cool was, everything anymore, especially with merchandise. We were the only band out of all of them that was allowed to have our own merch booth and handle it ourselves and not have to go through Rocklahoma and give them a cut.
How did you manage that? How did that happen?
My wife.
Wow.
Because my wife ain't gonna let anyone jack with her merch and her inventory, and and we have a really great setup, and they actually we were allowed to sell the next day too when we weren't even playing.
Wow.
Cool. Yeah, it was really cool. But it sucks because you're in and out, so when I got to see my sister, briefly, and actually our original singer, my singer on the first CD came out, and him and Pedro met, and he helped set up merch booth just like old days.
Yeah, it's like old
Reminds him of why he retired now.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, so the drummer ended up bowing out, or whatever happened there. We don't have to go into that. And then Josh gave you Rick's number, or how did that transaction happen?
No, Rick's did something. You posted some shit on Marketplace or on your page, sell Warren Star clothes or something, and I just I sent a message about that, and then I think you had we had a post of a video or something, and Regina Rand had made a comment, and then I think I'd seen Rick say, yeah, but they already have a drummer or something.
Oh, yeah.
It was just,
I said something like, if you ever need a drummer, let me know.
Yeah, it was just something like that. Yeah. I mean, it was just nothing planned. And then next thing I think I messaged him, and that was it. We ended up getting together.
Yeah.
Eddie, our other drummer, after Rocklahoma,
he spontaneously combusted.
That's a story as old as John and Yoko.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah,
end of the day. But no, we had what was it, one or two more shows, Pedro? I can't remember. And was that Bike Week or Bike?
It was Biketoberfest.
Biketoberfest. So he finished out those two shows, and but Rick came down. And we had already talked to him and offered him the job and everything. So he came down and helped out, was doing stage management and helped us, to kind of see how our stage show was and our set and everything. And he was, and our old drummer was out, and Rick was right in.
Yeah.
And then we just did our first show together with him, January 19th with Lita Ford.
Yeah.
That was the first show.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. He can be a good drummer.
He's all right.
He can hold down the beat.
4/4 sometimes.
Yeah. The Rocklahoma thing. How did you guys land that? Was that, a lot of the things these days, if you want to open for a band, you got to buy on. If you want to do several dates, you're definitely buying on. How did you guys manage to land that gig?
It's funny how that's a way for bands to compensate and make better money, huh?
Yeah.
By having younger bands who really want to do something,
pay for the gas.
Pay them,
yeah, pay for the gas. Or diesel.
No, my wife is always on top of things with submissions and paying attention. She does all the stuff that me and Pedro can't stand, like being online and paying attention, And so she had seen, and she keeps up with when submissions were due back, for Monsters on the Mountain or Rocklahoma or whatever, and submissions were coming up, and I guess she just hit it at the right time because we were the first band that Deb Stages or Deb Entertainment picked to be on Rocklahoma. So no, that one wasn't a buy on, but of course we didn't get paid.
Right.
But stuff like that, to be put in front of that many people in a big festival, you can't really kind of.
You got to do
those. Those are losses that are worth it.
Yeah, you got to do those. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Pedro, back.
Because
go ahead.
We don't play every weekend. We're not playing every dive bar and bar. We're not doing it because it just doesn't. We can't justify it.
Been there, done.
Yeah, so we just don't do that.
Yeah. Pedro, on that last track, Be My Honey, going back to talking about the track, man, your vocals are powerful. And powerful like a young Paul Stanley, like 1978 Dressed to Kill record. What are some of your influences and how did you end up singing like that?
By accident, believe it.
Wow.
Yeah. I started out playing drums. And then, when I was younger, and basically moving, the singers kept quitting or,
Yeah.
And I basically, actually, the first part was a bass player quit. So then I picked up the bass and I taught myself how to play bass in a couple of years. And then the guitar, so I played rhythm guitar.
Yeah.
The singer quit, and during that time I was singing backups, and I discovered that I could sing higher backups.
Right.
So all my parts were always the higher parts, but I never.
Michael Anthony's part.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I didn't know I could really sing until I was kind of forced to sing because I was in a band. I don't know. I think it was late '80s, and it was I was having fun in that band, and the singer quit. I didn't want the band to break up, so I was like, well, screw it, I'll sing.
Right.
So I kind of made myself. Sing, but I picked it right up and I just basically went with it.
Okay. All right. So you're a child of the 80s.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty clear that, to be able to hit those notes, like influence, was Sebastian Bach one of your influences, that type era?
My Steve Perry.
Oh yeah.
Ray Gillen's, Tony Harnell.
Yeah.
Of course, they got from Steelheart. Those are the guys that really made a huge impact. I mean, I liked all the 80s singers.
Yeah.
From Whitesnake and all that. But when I heard TNT, Tony Harnell, and Steelheart and Badlands, that I was just like, wow, you can do that.
Right. That's
what kind of made me. And I went out there and I was playing in original and cover bands back then, and I just belted it out. I just sat in my room and I just screamed and screamed and screamed until I could sort of get it.
Yeah. And
eventually I did. I was already singing for many years, all these cover songs, so I could sing them. But later on, Ron Feldman, which is a vocal coach of what was his name? the Backstreet Boys. He was here in Orlando. He's a big time vocal coach.
Yeah.
He saw me singing at a club, and he's like, "Hey, you sing great, but I can get you to the next level."
Yeah. So with that, you would recommend vocal coach for sure?
Oh yeah.
Every single
you got to know.
Yeah.
You should, even if you know how to sing. My parents were musicians, so that's probably where I got it from.
Sure.
But I kind of I play by ear. I don't know music, but I can pick up a guitar and come up with a song.
Right.
So I do everything by ear. But when you're singing, there's a technique to not so much to hit the notes, there's also a technique to do that, but it's to keep your stamina.
Yeah.
To sing for 4 hours.
Right.
To sing for a month, every day.
Yeah.
That takes time and that takes training.
Yeah.
Obviously not when you're sick.
Sure. How in the world do these like screamer how could those people sing every day for a month like you just said? I mean, it's got to tear their vocals apart, right?
It has to, even like in my cover band, like I refuse to do any AC/DC music because that will kill my journey voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
it's it's a whole different thing. I can sing Journey every day, no problem, because I've been doing it for so long, and I've been studying the guy for years.
Yeah.
But it's still, you have to have a technique. If you're just out there, just like you said, just screaming, I don't see how you can sustain it for that long.
Hey, Pedro, what's that thing called that you exercise your voice with? It looks like a bong.
Oh, it's a nebulizer, right? Nebulizer?
No.
He takes it.
Now the nebulizers
before the show. He works out his.
Yeah, it's basically just a cup, and there's a straw.
Yeah.
And there's like a hole on the other end, and you basically blow on it.
Yep.
And the more water that you put on it, the more pressure it puts on your vocal cords.
Ah.
So you can basically warm up without having to sing.
Yeah.
And that is, out of everything that I've tried through the 30, 40 years I've been singing, that is the only thing that works. No drops, no exercising, nothing. That freaking thing is amazing.
Yeah.
You just blow on it, and your vocal cords, you can hit higher notes without barely any effort.
It's like going to the gym for your larynx.
It is. It's amazing.
It's the donut on the bat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
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 Jeff, on the guitars on that, a couple of notes that I made on there was the nice change, the contrast between chunking out some rhythm and like some chicken picking type of stuff going on in that track. Is that kind of one of your styles that you like to lean on?
Yeah, I think because, like I said, I usually not always write on acoustic, and
right.
And then of course, because, I quit for so long and it was just me, so I had to kind of learn how to finger pick and orchestrate, just one guitar.
Right.
So I think I try to do that more, even with your standard rock chords, your 2-finger rock chords.
Yeah.
So I still like to try to add in open notes and things like that to kind of fill it up. So
yeah, well, I noticed it for sure as well. That's kind of something different than than what I do or what I hear people do all the time. It's a nice style transition.
Yeah, it's just to add in some notes to make it sound like I'm a decent guitar player.
Yeah, isn't that what we all do? I use all the smoke.
Just try to find the easiest stuff and go, hey, that's my style.
Yeah, I use all the smoke and mirrors I possibly can use.
Yeah.
Wish I had pedals for drums.
Because Pedro and them give me crap about like my ballads. I won't use a click track, and I'm like, Hendrix didn't use it. This is my style, and they're like, doesn't help. Your style sucks.
Yeah, click track is man. Once you go there, you never go back for sure. And I'm an old school type of player too. And once I went in ears, I never went back. Once I went Kemper, I never went back. And once I went with click track on everything, man, it's like, oh, this is how it should be done.
the latest show was supposed to be my first, because I had bought some in-ears and I was going to use them at that show, but of course we had the van transmission issue, and the last minute, doing sound check, my amp wasn't working, and I'm like, I'm not even going to screw with in-ears now.
Yeah.
That's
which is probably a good thing, because Rick had issues very first song for the first 2 minutes or whatever it was.
He didn't have it. I didn't hear about this.
So Jeff calls me and says, I'm still 40 minutes out. I'm like, what?
I heard about that. Yeah.
Okay. So the opening band, we had to flip
Slots.
sound checks.
Yeah.
So the stage manager's flipping his lid and he's screaming at everybody. We had to take the drum mics off the first band and put them back on my kit, take them off my kit, put them back on his.
Oh, you guys should have just shared at that point.
No.
Yeah.
What?
Absolutely. I'm all about making it easy myself, but
so I knew this was going to happen. I had it in the back of my mind going, I hope I still have my mix and everything's fine.
right.
So we have our track running just for the intro of the song, and
Right.
I counted off. We go into it. I got nothing.
In your ears?
Nothing. Nothing in my wedge, nothing in my ears, nothing.
Oh no.
So I couldn't hear vocals, I couldn't hear anything.
Wow.
So I look over at him, and he's looking at me, and we got the big panic eyes.
Yeah.
And he comes over, and he's hanging over my wedge for 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes of the first song. And he's like, "What do you need?" I'm like, "What I had. Everything. I need everything."
Yeah. Who was this that was hanging over the edge?
The monitor guy.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, he got me going.
Yeah.
Luckily, I kind of landed on my feet, and we didn't completely train wreck. But you can't stop, right?
No.
You got to keep going. You can't just stop.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, yeah, this is fantastic.
And this was kind of like your first gig with the guys.
Very
too.
first gig, very first song.
Yeah, Panic Guys.
Fantastic. Opening for Lita Ford.
Yeah, we've had those Panic Guys before, and like you said, you can't stop.
You just keep going, and you land it somewhere.
You grin and bear it and play it off like to make nobody know.
I meant to do that.
Yeah, I meant that.
Get the little jazz in the beginning.
Well, let's check out another track. This one's called "Bring It Down." Anything you guys want to say about this before we launch?
I dig it.
Yeah, you dig it?
This was originally called Bloody Money. It was a song that I'd written. It was like about the evil of money, and it was about gold and pharaohs and the root of it all. And Pedro got it, and he's like, "Yeah, I like all the
bloody
songs."
sucked.
Yeah,
but that bloody sucked. So this is the first song that he did the lyrics, and it came out really good. I think Pina posted it was 2 years ago that this song got it only peaked. It couldn't break 200, but it got to 201 on Billboard.
Oh, nice.
So this and this is I think the video we have with the most views so far. So it did a lot better than what we thought. Your buddy Josh, he filmed this video too. Actually, Josh has done all our videos.
Oh, okay.
So
gotcha.
Yeah, it turned out to be a great song, I think.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's check it out. Here we go. Bring It Down.
Stepping out from the darkness of the moonshine burning fog. I'm a wolf pack honey and I'm on the prowl. You know how to make me howl. I'm looking out, be the haunted.
Yeah, man. Another straight up rock song for sure. I really like the use of the vocal break. I don't know, with about 50 seconds left in the song, there's a big hard stop with a Robert Plant scream there. Was Robert Plant an influence at all? I mean, that kind of seems right up that alley.
No,
not a Robert Plant.
not at all.
Wow.
No, not at all. No, that song, Bloody Money, it had a whole different feel. Like everything was different. Like the melody, the whole feel of the song, and which I did not like. So I asked Jeff, just send me the music, because I heard something in the guitar that I liked. And when I heard the music when I heard just the music, what you heard just came. It was like, oh, this is great. And I could scream here, and I had so much room to do the stuff that I wanted to do. And during that break, in the original version, it just stopped. There was nothing there. I'm like, what? There's not even like a guitar lick or nothing there. What's going on?
That's for you.
Yeah, that's for me. So that's basically how that song came about.
Nice. Jeff, when you're recording your guitars, being the only guitar player, I'm very familiar with that role as the only guitar player in bands. Recording your rhythm tracks and then recording your solos. Are you a big doubling your rhythm guitar tracks to make them big and make the wall of sound there, or how do you go? How do you approach?
Yeah, and you know, and engineers are like, well, we'll just do 2 tracks at once. I'm like, no, I want to go back and record it again.
You have to, yeah.
It won't be the same.
It won't.
I may play it perfect, but I'll hear or feel something different. So yeah, everything has to be doubled.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, of course, even some of the lead parts, you know, certain areas, double it, triple it, whatever. But I've learned also, don't screw yourself too bad, you know, by laying down way too much stuff, you know, because we have like one of the ballads, Round and Round. It's a nightmare for me in my head, you know, and I finally convinced Pedro after a while to start playing his, you know, some of it live, you know, helping me out, you know, with the transition from heavy to clean. And then I got layered of, you know, leads over it and stuff. So, yeah, you want it to sound so huge in the studio, but then you got to look and go,
how do I put
okay, if we're not running tracks or anything, and that leaves just me to figure it all out, you know?
Yeah, that's a nightmare. I am a proponent of using my own tracks as needed to make it sound like I want it to be presented to the audience. I want it to sound like the record. So I'm gonna when I go into a guitar solo, someone's gonna back me up, and it's me, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, apparently I'm a prick to work with because we can't keep other guitar players, you know, even though I'm like, hey, man, just do the solos. And I want to be the old guy in the back playing the rhythm.
Yeah, you want to be Malcolm, right?
Yeah, and it's like, it's still an issue. So I'm like, man, we're not screwing with getting another guitar player dealing with all this. Pedro can play, and he can play parts just enough, you know, or he's still the singer, but he can, you know,
plus
do a couple of things here and there.
Looks cool when Pedro has a guitar.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But he needs help. He needs help looking cool on stage anyway. So
doesn't he?
Might as well give him a guitar.
What are your amps of choice to get the crunch? I mean, you got a nice quality, you know, good, warm, rich, heavy crunch rhythm guitar. What are you using there?
Well, for the last 4 years, I've been using the Friedman 100-watt head. You know, I've got the Marshall, and I've always used Marshalls, but I thought they never had that distortion. You know what I mean? It has that old. It's just not distorted enough. And really, the only effect, even though, like I said, I get hell about all of my pedals, I don't tap dance, so I got pedals, but my main thing is an old 89 Proverb, so with a slider for more reverb or less, you know, because I'm not technical and I'm just dumb as can be when it comes to it. I've got EQs, but Friedman, you know, and an EQ and a Proverb is really it.
Yeah.
You know, not a rack.
Yeah. Are you running that Proverb through the effects loop of the Friedman? So
you should see where that Proverb sits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
on top of the
Yeah,
amp?
because
No.
no, I don't want to. So I've tried eliminating a rack, having a rack, not a rack.
Yeah.
So I mounted my Proverb rack underneath my pedal board.
Oh.
So it's under my board, and the board sets on top of it because I don't tap dance really. I go from
Get
clean
rid
to
of that
dirty on a
thing.
couple of times. See, yeah, he takes a little, one little, but he don't play guitar except like two parts of songs.
Well, it
My
sounds
my
like
guitar processor fits in my backpack. I just
Yeah.
fit it right in. It's
Yeah,
like, I'm here. Play
yeah,
guitar.
right next to his mic.
Yeah.
And all that's what he's he could put his whole rig in his backpack.
that's
But no,
sounds smart to me.
Hey,
yeah,
Pedro
well,
came
it
in
would
and-
be nice.
Pedro came
But,
in and
you know,
he stumped the monitor guy. Like he said, "Here's my rig," and the guy, I just need one line, and the guy's like, "Huh? What are you talking about?"
So
No,
what do
that's
you?
all
What
I
do you
need.
are you
I
using a
don't need
Helix?
anything.
Helix or something like that, Pedro?
Me? No, I don't even know it. I bought this little pedal at Sears. It's like this.
That's yours.
It's
It's like a Boss GT1
Oh,
or
yeah,
some shit.
okay.
It's just some little, it's got 20 effects in it or something, and he don't do
It
nothing
sounds
with it.
great.
Yeah.
It sounds great. Not only that, it's got a drum machine. I can write music right on there,
But
right on my laptop. Everything's done.
But it doesn't
Yeah.
sound as great as my Friedman and my pain in the ass board.
Oh,
So
you want to bet? I challenge you. I challenge you right
this is
now.
awesome.
All right, let's get the challenge going. Sometimes, I mean, like I said, I go with a Kemper, and that was an expensive route to go, but it's been great for recording. It's been great for live. I've had it 7 years. It's pretty brilliant. But
dude, I tried. So I had and I was going between because I was going to need a fly rig or something. You know what I mean? And not all this. So it's like, okay, Kemper, head rush, back and forth.
Fractal.
So I grabbed, I got a head rush just to see, because it wasn't as much as a Kemper.
Right.
And I played it for like 2 weeks, and I'm like, this is like having sex with a rubber on or something. It didn't feel right. It didn't. I don't care if my presets were the exact same Friedman.
Yeah.
It didn't come out right to me. As much as I bitch about moving 412 cabinets and all my crap, it just, I couldn't. And I had tried having stuff like that before, and it sounded digital to me. It didn't sound right,
I agree. It does not push the air like a tube amp or even a solid state amp.
However,
Yeah.
Jeff shows up at my house to rehearse one night
Yeah.
with his Marshall.
Hey.
Yep.
It's cold outside. He brings it in and plugs it in.
Pop.
Yeah.
Smoke's coming out of it.
Wow.
We were done. We were done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna leave that head over there so I got tired of moving stuff, and of course it popped a tube.
Yeah.
But I did just also buy the Friedman for my fly rig, the LXR, IXR, whatever, the actual pedal that's just the same as the Friedman head.
Yeah.
So that'll be my fly rig from now. So now my rig can fit in a backpack like
you
Pedro's there.
If you can figure out what to put that reverb pedal.
Yeah, the Proverb.
Yeah, no, that's the only thing. Yeah, that's the only thing. Now, I wish it was a pedal, and then it wouldn't be a problem. I have, so that reverb, that Proverb is from 1989, and I find them on Reverb or Marketplace. I have like 4 of them.
Yeah.
I keep buying these old racks of Proverbs that are, from however old, but
Right.
yeah, I have like 4 of them.
You've got a quad reverb, right?
Yeah, that's Elisa's. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
1989 called and said they want their reverb back.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
so
they
many.
can't have it.
There's so many good reverbs that are. I mean, it's unbelievable. Actually, I mean, I run my Kemper in stereo, so it's just always very spacious, right? The delays are beautiful, the reverbs are great. But I do agree 100% that when I got it, I'm playing a 57 gold top reissue custom shop Les Paul through it, and I'm like, it's something not right. It's just not okay. It sounds the same. It sounds great in rehearsal, and it sounds great live. You just send some signal to the front of house, and they love you because they can control everything. But performance wise, it just didn't feed back quite right. I turn all different ways. It just wasn't doing it. So I found I changed guitars. I went with the Schecter Sustainiac, and with the sustainer on it, boom, it changed everything to be, it doesn't push the air quite right, but it sustains like a tube amp on 8-9 volume.
Yeah, it still makes it feel real.
Yeah, it makes it feel realer. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say it sounds as good as my Marshall or a Black Star or whatever tube amp that I'm running loud, but I can hear the next day.
Yeah.
So that's where that's my mindset is. I'm too old to play that loud because I already have tinnitus and I want to be able to hear tomorrow and not just hiss. So it's always a kind of a constant search with technology, the new stuff, what works, what doesn't. But it sounds like you kind of you have a sound that you like and you want to make sure that you get that. I mean, that's where comfort is, right?
Yeah.
So
even if I need 2 or 3 guys help me load my pedal board on.
I'm just surprised.
Well, Pedro's giving me shit over on the corner.
I'm just surprised you're not using the effects loop for any of your modulated sounds. I mean, do you have a chorus or delays or any of that kind of stuff?
No, I got like the Ocean's 11. I do run through my effects loop and then I run in direct.
Oh, okay.
So I got my board split.
Okay, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah. I don't really steer far from, I'm not using flanges and all these different effects. It's just reverb, EQ, and, maybe a slight bit of chorus on something here and there, but nothing else.
The biggest thing is the delays, reverbs, and here's another thing I found, and we're going gear nerding again. Another thing I found is I would run my delays, choruses, reverbs, and most importantly, 2 pedals, my noise suppressor.
Yeah.
Going through my effects loop would eliminate that hiss. Like when you're on your overdrive channel and you hit a chord and you stop and you don't, if you're on overdrive and you might still have some hiss going on. A noise suppressor in your effects loop will kill that. And then my solo boost pedal, put that in your effects loop, and boom, you hit that pedal using it in the effects loop instead of the front of the amp, and you'll actually get volume boost instead of more saturation.
Yeah, because I don't use a boost pedal, and I did put my noise. I just got a new noise suppressor pedal that I always hated because it seemed like it killed everything.
Yep.
It either cut it off or didn't cut it off fast enough. So I just didn't have one for the longest time, and I'd hit mute at the end of a song,
right?
Just to kill it. But I moved it in my chain.
Yep.
So it works a whole lot better now. I did run it through my effects.
It is in the effects loop now?
Yes, yes.
That's where I found them to actually work.
Yep.
After 30.
What do you guys say about that, Pedro, with your one pedal? Huh?
I got that too. It's a patch.
Yeah.
It's in there.
Yeah.
It's in there.
It's in there.
Well, let's check out another track and then we'll land this ship here.
All right.
I've got Locked and Loaded. Locked and Loaded. What do you want to say about this track before we run it?
This was off the first album, and it probably did the best out of all the songs on the first album. And when we were finishing this album up, we had 9 songs. And see, my house got robbed at the same time as my original singer who lived in Minnesota. His house had got robbed. Well, all our external drives for that album got lost. It got stolen. Someone took them, whoever robbed us took the drives and probably chunked them in a trash can. But so I can't ever do anything with it. I can't remix it. I can't do nothing with that first album.
Yeah.
But I had, when me and Pedro had first got together, I guess I had sent him the files. I had a disc that had Locked and Loaded on it, just the files.
And this is
and I forgot all about it. And we were down to, we had 9 songs for this album. And, of course we wanted 10 or 11. And he messaged me one day and asked me if I had the lyrics for it. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And I sent them to him. And I don't know, a few days later, he sent the song back done. He's like, now we got 10 songs, we're done. And it happened to be Locked and Loaded from the first album, the only files I have left from that album that were saved. That's why it's called Locked and Loaded Redo. So I thought it was fitting. We did that. That was our first, full band video for this album too. So I don't know, man. It's a fun song to play live. It's kind of a straight ahead rock song, man. It's just fun.
Yeah. Well, let me just say this. I can't let this just breeze over the fact of being robbed, and not only you, but your previous singer, and then hard drives or music being stolen. I had that happen to me, and I felt like I was raped. I felt like, I mean, they just took 3 years of my life material just by grabbing one laptop and one of my PV generation guitars out of my car. I could care less that they popped the lock and destroyed my lock. You took my music, bro.
Yep.
It's no good to you.
Yeah, that's how I felt. They took, they broke in and it was in a safe box. And what was on my ex-wife's safe box was in a closet, not 10 feet from it. But they took a couple of guitars and stuff. They didn't care nothing about that because big deal. But they had taken mine and, they didn't do nothing with it. It ended up, they popped the safe box open, realizing there's no jewelry or money in it, and they chunked it.
Yeah.
So, that's what kind of pissed me off. And there's no telling what else. There's old footage, videos and stuff from back to that first, CD era of, shows, and, everything was lost. And it is like getting raped.
It's like getting raped. And you're too heartbroken to even kind of go back and revisit the material that you had on that stuff. It's like, I'm just going forward.
Yeah. Move on from it.
I wish you were home, and I wish you were locked and loaded. So here it goes, Locked and Loaded.
Tonight and get this shit done right.
love that line. Da-dum, bum, 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 ba-da-da-dum. I love that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and I can see where, like, I was specifically listening to the rhythm guitar on that, and I could hear that it was doubled, but I could hear you were emphasizing a little bit differently on different things, making it sound like two guitar players.
Yep.
Sounded really good.
As a drummer, I really like the bass lines in all these songs.
Oh, I was going to mention that.
Yeah, the bass is
Hector.
always just heavy as hell.
Yeah, Hector. Is that Hector on this track?
No.
Okay.
No, Hector's not on this. That was my old bass player on this one.
The bass tone on this was
banging.
Yeah, it's very nice. Hector, we haven't talked about him at all tonight. What is he using live for bass rig or bass tone? Is he using preamps? We use the Tech 21 stuff. Is he using an amp with a preamp?
Yeah, he's using Kemper stuff.
Oh, really? For bass?
Yep.
Wow. So he's got a Kemper head set up with all. I mean, a lot of people don't really know that. Is that Kemper? Like my Kemper amp, I've got bass patches. I've got obviously my lead guitars and rhythm guitar patches, but I've got acoustic guitar patches on there that I made and used. You can do that. You can use it. You could run a keyboard into it. You could do anything with it. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So he's using Kemper now, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. He's got a little bitty cabinet. I don't know what the hell cabinet that is, but yeah, he's got a good sound. I mean, he's a sturdy guy, on stage.
Yeah.
He's don't ever have to really worry too much about him either.
Yeah, that's a great compliment to give any player in any band. If you could say, yeah, man, that position is sturdy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's a win, because usually that means they're sturdy in their performance. But I would imagine this is sturdy in the locker room or the green room or loading in, loading out, that kind of guy.
Yeah. No, don't ever have to worry about Hector about anything.
Yeah.
He's a solid guy.
That's awesome.
He's a sweet guy.
He's the happy one. He is a sweet guy.
Yeah, he's the sweet guy.
All right, so he's the happy one. You're the nice one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Pedro, what are you?
He's the quiet one.
You're the quiet one.
Yes.
Not much to say, or well, you're saving your voice.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Pedro is quiet. He's the quiet guy.
I'm a hermit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a hermit, basically.
Jeff just had.
And I'm Mr. Happy.
Mr. Happy. Yeah.
Mr. Happy.
Well, that's awesome.
Pedro just had a baby not too long ago.
Well,
yeah.
Have your hips displaced?
Yes,
Yeah.
They're back. They're back.
He's looking good. Yeah.
You got your body back now?
Sometimes it takes a while. Did you get an extra stitch? Well, that's awesome, guys. I would be remiss if I didn't touch on a subject, and that subject is we spend all this time writing and recording, spending the money to do videos. We do all this stuff. We try to promote it as the best we can, get it out there, doing things like this, spending money. We put it up on Spotify, and we make nothing or nickels. Let's do it. Let's have a little conversation about music distribution in 2024.
This is Jeff's favorite subject.
Yeah. How you doing, Jeff? This is for you.
Well, I just got us out of our distribution deal, got everything reverted back to us. Everything it would have stayed the same if they had paid us.
Yeah.
And done their job, but they didn't. So, we just got it. I put stuff on YouTube, videos, and get a copyright strike, and I'm like, what the hell is this?
On your
I
own
wrote
music.
this shit.
Yeah. Happened to me too.
Yeah, so we finally got everything reverted back, got everything detached from the last distribute, because it doesn't matter if it says Sony Universal on your shit. It doesn't matter. It makes no difference it's not putting anything in the bank.
Right.
It just means they're getting their cut before we do, if we get ours, and it takes forever, and then it's a battle. We had to deal with, an attorney to get or pay for physical CDs.
Yeah.
You know, the actual documentation wasn't getting sent properly to BMI, and you know, we were getting statements that were, you know, typed at the house on the computer, and you could put whatever you want in there.
Yeah.
You know, and then we don't know until a year later or the next quarter, you know, that they didn't submit all the information, you know. So it's just easier to not deal with it. And that's why I was saying on Spotify, I don't even know what's left because I'm so anti-Spotify. But I do know, you know, a lot of our stuff had got pulled off. I don't know if it's from the first CD or if there's a few things on there that Pedro and I had released prior to this distribution deal.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, we got everything back to us, you know, so I'm just happy about that. So, but you know as well as I do, all you guys do, that there's really no record deal. It's a distribution deal with a couple of guys that started up their own distribution company, and you know, and it just it goes nowhere. Yeah, you know, well, it's something we can all do.
Yeah, or it goes nowhere more than what we can do on our own using you know, legitimate distribution things. I think at this point, what are the options? I mean, we can put it out on, you know, iTunes and Tidal and, you know, Spotify or all that stuff. We can all do that ourselves. But unless you're getting onto some heavy rotation playlists or getting traction from this or that, it's not gonna pop up as a you must listen to this type of thing. I almost want to see. Remember back when Pandora originally came out, and you could submit your stuff to that and end up on the well, if you like the band Kansas, you should check out this band. And you would be kind of promoted by genre or style more so than popularity contest type thing. But where are we at? What do we do?
Not a lot we can do. I mean, you know, and Spotify is just a big, complete ripoff anyway. I mean, it's a piece of crap. You know, once again, I seen Snoop Dogg a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, whatever, saying he had over 1 billion streams and only got $44,000 check from him. You know, which I'd be pleasantly happy for a $45,000 check from Spotify, but for 1 billion streams, you know, YouTube ain't paying nothing. Nobody's paying anything. So just buy our CDs from our website or our show. You know. You take the good with the bad, you know. In order for us to be heard in New Zealand and Guam and Indonesia and everywhere else, we got to have the internet and, you know, all these streaming places. But we're not making any money off of it, so we're just giving it away. But at least because of the internet, we can be heard in all those places. Right. So, you know, obviously we're all stupid. We're still in the industry. Well, that's trying to make something out of it, you know? That's why, you know, none of us, you know, we're not really, we got to be rich. We got to be rock stars. You know, I think because we're all older now, we realize that, you know, odds are against us. So we might as well just do what makes us happy. And that's basically the songs we write and how we do it and what we're doing. Yeah. Write and record the best thing, best product that you can, put it out there. I mean, at this point, I'd rather live the life I'm living than join the Illuminati and have to drink baby's blood to be famous. You know, that kind of thing. No doubt. But you mentioned CDs. We go in my bands. We go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth some more about. Well, do we even press CDs anymore? Because nobody has a CD player and. Should we do thumb drives that they can put in their car? You know, what's the merch of choice to be able to sell and distribute your music, you know, live and in person? Well, Pedro, you know, me and Pedro alike, you know, we're old. We like, you know, the actual physical CDs, you know, looking and reading and looking at the books, and we make it we give people an option. You know, we have CDs. We're going to do CDs for ourselves. Mm-hmm. You know, that's something we can, you know, put on our collection to have at the end of the day when we're all done. Yeah. But we're working on things like tap tune cards and things like that. Yeah. me and Pina had met with the owner of a company in Florida, and there was a couple of things I wanted changed before we did that. But yeah, USB cards. We want to give them options. You know what? You want to give everyone options, and it does suck that new cars aren't even being put out with CD players anymore because everyone streams everything.
Yeah.
But for me, I want a CD, even if it's just mine. Yeah. So it'll be available. If someone else wants to buy it, cool.
I'm always going to press 100. You know, I'm always going to press 100 just so that I can give to myself and my friends and family, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Put it up in your collection of, you know, shit I did over my lifetime.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but I'm going to go ahead and say it on the air. And this is one of my ideas I had, and I was like, man, I need to patent this because it's going to happen. Fuck it. Here we go. So on my headstone.
Be serious if he just said that.
Yeah, on my headstone, I'm going to have a little solar panel, that runs a small MP3 player that you can plug a pair of headphones into my headstone and hear music that I did, maybe a podcast that I did, or hear my story. I'm gonna have a plug and play
over your grave.
Plug and play headphone.
Leave your shit for when someone comes out.
Yeah. Plug and play headstone. That's my solar power. It's got to be solar power because green.
It's pretty strong.
It's a good idea, man. I mean, I had this idea like 2 decades ago.
Yeah.
But I've been too
busy. You don't have a prototype or anything yet?
No, I've been
too busy to get that moving.
I've been too busy to writing songs no one will hear. So, well, guys, man, I appreciate you guys coming on, and the music's great. Jeff, you're here in Atlanta, so I don't know why you haven't come over here yet and had a little jam session with me.
I will at some point.
Yeah. Now that we've met. Let's step. We'll
jam.
We're in the same idea space, Pedro, I'm sorry, but you live too far for me to come jam with you. Unless
you can come up if you want.
Yeah, you can come up. Yeah. Well, that brings me to a point. You imagine this band with Hope Sanker at Mad Life?
It'd be killer.
That'd be a great show.
It'd be a great show.
So maybe that's something that we look at maybe doing. End of year.
Yeah,
2025.
Yeah, we hadn't. Voodoo Moonshine hadn't played Atlanta since 2008 or 9.
Yeah, now
It's been a while.
I think that we get the Voodoo in front of Scully.
Oh yeah,
and he would love it because it's right up his alley.
You know Scully, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that might be we might be able to work something out, Jeff.
Yeah.
We might be.
Let us know. Well, let Pina know. She handles all of us. We just do what she says.
Yeah, as you should.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Well, again, thank you for coming on, and let everybody know where they can find everything Voodoo Moonshine.
That's you, Paco.
Voodoo Moonshine Rocks. VoodooMoonshineRocks.com.
Okay.
Everything's on there. All our social media links, our stores on there, our music's on there. So find us there.
Okay.
Yep.
VoodooMoonshineRocks.com.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, boys.
Yep. All right, boys.
Thank you.
Hang on the line
for having us.
Hang on the line for just a second, and we'll talk to you off the air.
Okay.
All right. See you guys.
See ya.
You're watching the Original Music Podcast.